So in this talk I'm going to focus on learning, and the starting point is that if we are going to try to address wicked problems, which are problems with no real easy solution, then it's going to take new kinds of learning to enable people to make sense of them, to sort of get their head around what a wicked problem is and how they respond to it. So there are a whole range of theories about learning, and as time has gone by, different theories have become dominant, and then have dipped away again and other theories have come along. So what theories have there been? What theories are most useful to the current situation? So originally people had behaviourist ideas, and they would say, well, simply you just need to know this, and then as a result this will happen and people will take some knowledge and will act differently. That isn't really how brains work. What we know is that if you treat people as empty pots, try and fill them with knowledge, then it won't work, because they've already got a series of ideas in there. So people moved towards sort of more constructivist views of learning, which meant that you accept that people already have a well-established view of what goes on around the world. They have mental models of things, they have a whole series of ideas which may or may be correct, scientifically or otherwise. So what you need to do is get a sense of what those ideas are. So if we think about wicked problems, we have to think, so what do people already know? What do people have a sense of? What do people understand? How can we then either challenge those ideas and make people think differently about them and realise their existing models don't work and help them to come up with new models? Or do we say, okay, so you don't know a great deal, what do you know? How can we help you to pull things together and get a better sense that will help you to survive and feel confident enough to develop a better understanding of ways forward? Now, you can do this on your own, but actually learning works better if you are working with other people. So more social constructivist models, more social models of learning came along, where people said, well, actually it depends on who you're talking to, it depends on who you're working with. And this idea that you can learn better if someone is constantly trying to help you to think beyond what you'd be able to do on your own, a Vygotskian model of learning. And from then we developed ideas about communities of practice, people learning together, experts who gradually help people to come in from outside, draw them in, and get a growth in their learning, so learning becomes a lifelong process. Now, what's important in learning is context, as well as the content. Another of the talks looks at the importance of context and looks at whether we talk about learning in formal context or informal context. But what's important is that we realise that in addressing wicked problems, we have to have, educationists need to have an understanding of how people learn, what people learn, and what strategies work best. The other thing, another sort of way I think about learning is inquiry-based learning, so where you can look at a problem and say, okay, so we have an environmental problem. Maybe what we could do is to think about this in terms of what questions could we ask about the situation, how could we help get other people to address those questions, what sort of bodies of knowledge do we need to have, because science alone won't tell us about the answers to problems. We need to have a whole range of bodies of knowledge which come from politics, from geography, history, social sciences, the humanities. We need to bring those bodies of knowledge together in order for us to get a better understanding of these wicked problems that are addressing us at the moment. And those problems may be climate change, they may be biodiversity, biosecurity, food security, and so on. So, just to sum up, we're faced with a whole range of wicked problems. We have a whole range of bodies of subject matter which we can draw on. It's not enough to be able to say if just people learn these bodies of knowledge, they will be able to take action, they will be able to do something about it. We need to have theories of learning which help us to make sense of how people learn in order for educators to help people to go beyond what they already know and construct mental models and ideas which are productive and which help people to make sense of the world around them. And then, ideally, to take action, if they've not taken action already, to take more action in order to solve those, to address those problems they face.